My name is Mr. Chuck, naturalist here at Black Hawk State Park. Today we're going to visit one of our special ecosystems, the Forest Preserve. We have over 200 acres here at Black Hawk Park. And we're going to take a walk through the woods now and see what we can find as far as the ecosystem here, as far as plants, animals. We're right in the midst of one of our most stable trees, the oak tree. On this particular oak, you see a black box, and that's put up there for another special woodland animal, the bat. This is going to be a tree that we call the Catalpa. The Native Americans would take these leaves, and if they were out chasing a rabbit and they fell down and skinned their knee, they would take the Catalpa leaves, crush those, and put that juice on as an anesthetic to kill the germs. Here's some acorns from the oak tree, and these just started growing. This is a plant called Burdock, and the flowers are done blooming now, and they're just forming their seed heads. As you can see, it'll stick. There is a man, a Swedish inventor, that used to like to hike in the woods. One time he was out and he came back. He and his dog were coated with these, and he wanted to find out why that stuck. He saw that the seed heads had little hooks on them, and the pants had loops. So he said, if I make something that has loops at one end and hooks at another end. So he got the idea for Velcro. Here is one of the best examples of poison ivy vine that I've ever seen. So if you come out here in the winter with no leaves, you'll have no indication that this is poison ivy unless you know that poison ivy holds on to a tree with its aerial-like roots. This plant right here is called Mayapple. Sometimes it gets the nickname the umbrella plant. The Mayapple flower, as the name implies, blooms the first week of May. The flower turns into a fruit. The fruit in June will turn into a yellow-like apple, about that size. Oh, I'm going to digress here for just a minute because we have a special critter. It's camouflaged, but there it is. You see? Now watch. If it was really frightened, it'd fold its legs like it was a part of the stem. It's an insect called a walking stick. Here is one of our special pollinators, the Bumble Bee. That Bumble Bee right now is looking for nectar, and as it's looking for nectar, it's pollinating the flower. And the Bumble Bee is a unique pollinator because it makes its home in the woods, in the ground. Here is a really, really, really neat tree. This is a tree that has sap that attracts one of our special woodpeckers, and this is a woodpecker called the sapsucker. When you're out in the woods, look for trees that are alive and have holes in a neat row. That tells you the sapsucker has been to that tree. It should be called the sap brusher because the tongue is like a brush to brush up the sap, not suck it up. After the sapsucker is gone, insects come to the sap. Morning cloak butterfly will come. The hummingbird will come in the spring. If there's not enough nectar in the flowers, the sapsucker will come back and feast upon some of the insects that are at the sap wells. Okay. You can see the little needles. They're on this plant stem. They're on the on the leaves. This is called stinging nettles. You can always recognize this tree because it has this big, thick, gnarled, warty bark. It's called hackberry. This vine is just getting started, but this vine has 5 leaves. Called Virginia creeper, holds onto the tree with like little suction cups. See these tendrils right here? Those little tendrils have at the end of them little suction cups, and that's what holds it on to the tree. Another vine that we might come across, and that's wild grape, and that just winds around the tree and holds on. The 3 of the most common vines that we'll come across in the woods, and we found 2 of the 3, Virginia creeper, that has 5 leaves, purple berries in the fall, poison ivy that has white berries in the fall and 3 leaves, and wild grape. This is called Jack in the Pulpit. The flower's done, and now it's forming the seeds. These berries right now are green, 2 or 3 weeks, and these will be bright red. Raccoons, chipmunks, deer will eat these ripe red berries. That's the seed from the hackberry. As we walk along here, we want to take a look straight ahead and see the shade, see the density, and then we'll look for any openings, what kind of canopy do we have, because that will determine what kind of plants that are growing here. Some trees, some plants do well in the shade, but then the plants like the oaks that need more sunlight will come in later, and we'll find those in areas where it is more opening and there's a bigger canopy. So as we walk along, let's watch for that. Butterflies have to get their body temperature up to at least 75, 80 degrees in order to have enough energy to fly. So if it's a cool 55, 60 degree day back here in the shade, then we wouldn't find many butterflies. We would have to wait till we got here with a more open canopy, and then we would find more active insects, especially the butterflies. Thank you for being with us on our forest woodland hike today. We just wanted to give you some idea of some of the things that are in the woods, and we were here today in the first week of August. Come here anytime and see not only what's in the forest now, but what's new each season, how things change, what new things are there. Take a time to get out and be out in the open air and breathe the fresh air and be a part of nature. Thank you for watching, and be sure and follow us on our Black Hawk State Historic Site website and Facebook. You can keep up to date with all the things that are happening, and really we'd like to extend an invitation for you to come and visit us firsthand. Just explore nature and be a part of it and take advantage of this fantastic wonder of the Quad Cities.